Hi, I'm Corey Luna with Patch Dispatch, and with me is
Richard Hogbin.
and we've got a couple updates with you on July 31st, 2023. Rich, what have you been looking at lately?
Let's see. The first thing I've got is, well, do you want to talk about the Bela?
Yes. So just recently, I just heard about this module from an Instagram post from a different company, from Bela. And Bela Labs have been working on a module called Gliss. And it's like almost like a touch controller. I think is probably the best way to describe what Gliss is. It has a memory, and you can control sections of your patch with this one module. And I believe it's a 4 HP module, has this wonderful little like touch screen, goes up and down, and it has a light that follows where your finger goes. And then has a memory to call back where you had traced, basically. It reminds me very much of some of the make noise pieces that are touch plates, which is very much a very popular thing that Make Noise has been playing with. And it seems that they've taken it to a new level of making a programmable sequencer just by moving your finger up and down on their screen, or on the touch plate, I should say.
Mm-hmm. I like their take on that idea, because I think I've seen similar modules, but this one, at first it's also multi-touch too. You can use two fingers on it, right?
That's right.
Like narrow in on results. Yeah, that was really cool. And I really like the feedback of the LED underneath, which gives you, it's like a really simple way to show it, but really cool looking too.
It definitely is. And it makes me even more interested just to have, it's always great to have modules that actually light up and have a traceable light that is constantly in flux, moving back and forth, up and down, that depending on how you have programmed it. It looks pretty cool. And from what I've seen on the website is that I don't think it's actually available for purchase yet. It looks like last year in 2022, they did a crowdfunding campaign to get the funds to get it developed. And it looks like they were able to successfully get the campaign funded. But I haven't seen when I'm going to publicly release it yet.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to check the either their YouTube or the Crowd Supply might have information on it too.
Good point.
Yeah.
All right, and for our next module, do we have another? Oh, the Hermod Plus. Was it Hermod Plus?
Yep, the new the new Hermod. This was announced. It's actually been like a month now, but it's definitely a popular sequencer module for Eurorack, for those people that like, that big like master control program module. Scorp has desktop sequencers that are fairly popular, and this was like their sort of modular version. And for the new version, they I think they borrowed a lot from the Hapax. They they made the screen bigger. They redid the interface. I think new track buttons. What else? I guess a new random generator for notes, and also generative MIDI effects. So yeah, you get
That's
like
cool.
the polyphonic step sequencer.
Yeah, from their website, they've got some. They actually have.
Yeah, it's cool. It's definitely, it's one of those sort of sequencers that you don't have to sit in there and program in every step. It's a little more, I guess, you can kind of do
user friendly,
do stuff on the fly, play with it versus program it, kind of thing. Which I don't know. I kind of prefer that style versus having a bunch of preset patterns you have to make before.
Yeah, ditto. And I like the fact that they, on their website for the Hermod Plus, they have a key feature section to show what's new for the updated version of Hermod, which would, there's some great little things that make it really fun that I might end up getting one, because any module that has record live is always great for me. Anything that can be in your case that can record everything that you're performing. I like the idea of that.
Right.
And I know there's a few other modules that have that feature, but it's not wide. I don't think it's widely used.
Right. I think the other one I like a lot is you can record CV in, so and then edit, versus having from another module recorded into that and then mess with it and then send it back out. So a lot of cool integration with Eurorack there.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's some really great features on the new Hermod Plus. That's going to be a fun module. I may have to splurge for that one. That's a nice one.
Do you have a big what's your main sequencer right now?
So I use two actually for what I'm doing. If you probably can't see too much back here, but we've got a little bit over here. You've got Pamela's new workout, and I'm getting that patch between. It's controlling ornaments in crime on Piqued mode, or I also use Meta-Q mode for that. And then I have the Make Noise Renee sequencer, so that I can actually manipulate the patch just from touching the lights.
So Renee is definitely a main big sequencer module. So
it's huge. It is definitely one of the biggest modules I own. It might be the biggest module I own.
Right, but you get the whole touch interface and all the knobs and everything. So I mean,
it's definitely worth it if you understand what's happening in it, because it's one of those sequencers that has so much going on that you really have to read the manual to understand what's happening. Mm-hmm. And it's actually, once you get used to it, it's not that hard. It's actually a really great performance sequencer that's really designed for live performance, and you can take it to any performance as long as you know what's patched to what. You can bring things in and out, with just by sliding your fingers up and down on those lights. And I think it's one of the most wonderful features that I still really enjoy using.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, let's move on to some album releases. So there's two albums that I just learned about actually today, and there are also bands I have not heard of that until today. The first one is Push by Sextile, and I believe they're a New York-based band that have been around since about 2015, and they're very actually they're LA, not New York. My mistake on that. But they're very much a hard techno sound, which is really, very, very much a club style. And it's pretty, I like it so far. It's hard hitting, fun, and just kind of catches your ear really quick. And have you had a chance to listen to any of the tracks of this pre-order release yet, Rich?
I did. The preview there, I was taking a listen to it. It's pretty good, pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's definitely something that.
Where did you run across this one?
I found this one on Bandcamp.com. Mm-hmm. So if anyone wants to find it, you can go to Bandcamp. I'm sorry, it's sextile.bandcamp. It should be the link. Mm-hmm. And we'll have that in the show notes, of course. And then the second notable album release that is also brand new is called Radio Silence by Andy Pickford and Liminal Mind. I believe is a collaboration. I could be wrong about that, but it looks pretty. Again, it's another techno album, but it's not as hard as the previous album. As I mentioned, it's more, it's got a bit more ambient style, a little bit more chill with the electronic synth style, and it looks like it's out of the UK, out of Derby, United Kingdom. And Rich, have you had a chance to take and listen to this one?
I did for a bit. before the show. Yeah, I like this one too. I think this a little more my style.
I think so too. Yeah, I was definitely taking a risk sending you Push, and because that's definitely not something that I've ever heard you play.
Uh-huh.
That's definitely like very much, that might be a bit more my speed. I like some of the more edgy techno out there, but definitely like the chill mode is definitely more your style for techno. So Rich, have you acquired any new gear lately?
Well, I don't have. It's not new gear, but I have a new app for newish gear. I have an app for the Playdate, and it's kind of cool because the Playdate is a sort of startup game, handheld game console, and there have been a lot of games on it, and a lot of people have been waiting for like music apps because it looks like a teenage engineering product. It was co-designed by Teenage Engineering, but sold by Panic. And there's like an aux jack, there's USB-C, which I've heard has a secret API that you can run controllers on. It's got the side crank, of course. It's got a speaker, which is not great, but it works. And then just simple A/B buttons. So the app is a music app, and it's a granular music app called Granular. I can play a sample of it, but basically you load samples into it. It's got 5 playheads and effects. It's a pretty cool app for this little guy. Let me see if I can get a sample to come up here. If you can hear it. So there's a music box. It's pretty cool. You can see the playheads kind of going through.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a neat little app. But I'm excited that there's now apps coming out for music for the Playdate. The next one I'm waiting for is a tracker. That would be fun. Like LSDJ, It's basically a game.
Okay,
boy.
cool.
So yeah, that would be fun.
Far out. That's a cool piece. I may have to pick one up for myself. These looks like about $200 online right now.
Yeah.
So that's decent actually. That's not outrageous for what it is. So we don't have too much more, but unfortunately, we wanted to let anyone know who hasn't heard already that just yesterday, July 30th, the actor and comedian Paul Reubens passed away. Best known for playing the character Pee Wee Herman in the 80s. And a lot of us who grew up in that time watched his TV show, saw his movies, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Pee-wee's Playhouse, I believe was the TV show. And he passed away at the age 70 of cancer, which is very, very sad. And let's have a little moment of silence for Paul Reubens. And Rich, you had actually mentioned to me the passing of Paul Reubens in text earlier today. What is your experience with him as an actor?
Probably, you mentioned Pee-wee. I probably watch Pee-wee's Big Adventure at least once a year. And it's one of my go-to movies.
Wow.
I don't know. I just like, it's a Tim Burton film. Like it's got that sort of adult creepy comedy to it. It's not the, the morning kids show that's a little more whimsical. It plays off that, but no, that was one of my favorite movies. Probably, I really like that one. But I mean, I watched the the morning shows too. I'd also seen some of his stand-up stuff, which was, back in the day. I mean, like that he was Pee-wee for me. So.
No, me too. He was always Pee Wee Herman to me. That was my favorite role of his at all times. And I listened to a podcast interview with him some years ago. I believe I was listening to Nerdist, which is Chris Hardwick's podcast, and he had interviewed Paul Reubens about his career, and Paul Reubens talked about coming up and going to the Groundlings, and how that's where he developed his character, Pee Wee Herman, and some other notable actors and actresses came up at the same time as he did. Elvira was one of the people that he mentioned that he knew when he was part of the Groundlings, and that was a very good interview. It was really fun, and he's always, been very protective of. He was always very protective of children and who are watching the show, because he even mentions in the podcast that he was a cigarette smoker when he was doing the show, and he tried to make sure that children never saw him smoking cigarettes, because he didn't want to influence kids like that. So it was he seemed to be I've never met him, of course, but he seemed to be a very respectful person.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to check out that interview. But yeah, I mean, I've heard the same stuff. So cool. Yeah, he'll be missed for sure.
Well, now I have to go watch Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
I mean, I think I don't know. When was the last time you saw it?
Oh, maybe 10 years ago. Honestly, I haven't watched it in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's funny. It's like one of those films where you're like, you don't remember how funny it is until you watch it again, and you're like, oh yeah, I like this movie. It's got a lot of those. There's little scenes that you like forget. Like you remember like the big stuff, like I don't know, the Alamo and like that kind of things. But there's a lot of little small scenes that are just like hilarious. So.
Is that when he goes to that Mexican bar and dances to the song Tequila?
Of course. Yeah, I mean, it's, there's like the bike scenes and the pool scene, Large Marge. Yeah, I mean, there's tons of stuff. It's pretty funny.
It was.
Yeah.
Everyone, please go check out some memorabilia of Paul Reubens as Pee Wee Herman, or any of the other awesome things that he was a part of, because he was a fantastic actor that I think his career was kind of overshadowed by his fame as that character. And I think it may have stifled his career at a time, but I believe he was able to still successfully be an actor that was versatile in doing other roles. And I know what he did. It just was I think Pee Wee Herman was probably the biggest thing he ever did. And I know that he did a couple of tribute shows later on in life, maybe in the past 10 years. I'm pretty sure I saw a couple of specials where he did some live performances as that character, and kind of redoing the HBO special that he did so long ago. So that's it for Patch Dispatch. It's been July 31st, 2023. I'm Korey Luna.
And I'm Richard Hogbin.
Find out more on piqued.website, and we'll catch you next time.